Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 169 of The Desk, my platform, the rant, rave, bitch, be more, and all things that encompass OCW Patreon podcast, a special podcast, if you will, with a special guest, one of the longest running patrons, a man who I don't think I've spoken to on a podcast ever, honestly. It would be maybe 9 years. The one and only, the king of the impromptu promo, the man who fucking lost to this dickbag at OCWFED, but the future legend, Roberto Minio, a.k.a. Roberto Clemente, a.k.a. Big Barbarino, a.k.a. Breast, a.k.a. Tits McGee, a.k.a. Hakuna Matatas, Bobby Minio.
What's going on, man? Is this like Tiger Belly where I can't talk until you say my name?
Oh no, you can talk whatever the fuck you want, bro. As you know, I'm a couple sheets to the wind. Not only is this the first time I've ever actually podcasted with you, but this is also probably the first time I've ever did a podcast at like 1 o'clock in the fucking morning.
I got bad news, Jay. This isn't a podcast. It's actually a pop-up intervention. I'm going to invite a few more people in here, and we're going to have a little talk about how you've been drinking.
Oh, sorry, I had to ingest. Yeah. I don't even know, man. So the one with Drago was interesting. This is me trying to see, you're the one. Remember, like I always say that with Bobby, I always say that Bobby basically says what I want to say, but he says it in the way it's supposed to be said, because when it's up to me, it's like and fucks. I curse and I grunt, and that's it. Bobby will say the exact same thing I need to say, but he'll say it the way it's supposed to be said, proper, eloquent, and to the point. But the Drago podcast, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I enjoyed it. Drago enjoyed it. People enjoyed it. I don't know what's gonna happen this one, but let's try to kick things.
It's gonna be a shit show.
Maybe, I don't know. It's late, so I'm half asleep, but I'm also half drunk, so I don't fucking know. But yeah, man. So is Bobby Minio, fucking dude. The funny thing about you is that you listen to content. Like I didn't know you listened, but you actually do, which is kind of.
I don't catch every episode, but I catch episodes where I'm curious to see what's going to happen or what's going to be talked. But I like a lot of my gaming time, or at least I try to be, when I'm not in a like balls deep in Tarkov. I try to play games where I can just throw podcasts on while I'm gaming. Be it this or like I watch a lot of like comedian stuff, like the Your Mom's House stuff, Tiger Belly, all that shit. But yeah, so I'm like a multitasker. I have to constantly have my hands going, whether I'm playing some weird computer game or whatever, playing something on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And then also have something going on, whether I'm watching a show or listening to a podcast or whatever.
Well, yeah. So basically, the point I was making is that like you've been listening, and you'll basically just sit me aside, like, hey, what about you'll mention something, like you called me a blockhead and that popped me. He was like,
"What did I yell at you about?"
You was upset about the fact that I said that you just learned how to render videos, and you said
that's ridiculous. I've been rendering videos for years.
You've been rendering videos poorly for years.
No, I see, and I don't mean it like, hey man, I've been rendering your videos since I was doing like my college video podcast. I don't mean it like that, but I mean I've been submitting content to you for,
of course,
bitching about the rendering and stuff like that. Now my rendering issue is just that. Well, my bigger issue is that editing in the Vegas version I had ran like shit. And now the new one is awesome. It's like butter, and I can actually check stuff now and make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
But then I figured out the rendering through the NVIDIA card that wasn't in that old version of Vegas either, and it just flies. It's done in like 5 minutes. Because I used to put it off.
Yeah.
Like render overnight.
The render overnight, like, yeah, I'm just gonna hand it in late. Jay'll be fine with it.
Well, then I would come in the morning and find it fucked up and go, shit, I have to re-render.
And then you'd be like, hey, I'm just gonna, can I send it in late, Jay? And
cool I drop this at like 10 p.m.? I guess so. 10 p.m.
Can I shout out to my neighbors playing music really loud, fucking assholes. Yeah, shout out to you.
New York stuff.
Oh my god, son. I got my windows open like an asshole. That's why I deserve
that ass.
Yo, I would not be surprised. Like, there'll be times when I'll be recording, like, right as a motorcycle, like, Jesus Christ, I'll be outside and you just hear someone go, hey, man, and you start arguing with some woman. It's like, it happens. It's happened on podcasts, and I've just kind of muted I've muted my end, and no one's caught on to it because I'm trying, like, not to catch it. But right now, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I hear people talking, I'm probably going to bring it up. But yeah, back to your rendering. Thank God for that, because because of what you told me, it actually fixed my render times too, which were already really good.
Yeah.
But now, like, certain videos used to take like maybe 10 minutes. Now they take like fucking 2. So I'm like, yeah.
It's insane how fast it is. It's really crazy.
It's like, yeah, suck a dick. But it's not about rendering. This is about, I don't know, Patreon podcast. You're a Patreon for the longest time. Thank you for that, too. I appreciate that. I honestly,
Yeah.
I did not expect you to be a Patreon at all. Not because
I
you're
wanna,
a dick or nothing, but, you
No,
know.
no, because I have this reputation of being super cheap. Right?
Yes, you do.
It's hilarious.
I love it because, you know, I think you have the reputation to be super cheap because of the fact that, like, your computer's held together by like duct tape, hand-me-downs, and like hope.
Parts. Here's the thing: I'm hood rich, right? So when the paycheck comes, my girl and I are like, "Damn, we're gonna order some DoorDash up. We're gonna buy some weed. You know, we live it up, and then we're like, we'll be good tomorrow though." And then the next day comes, and we're like, "Man, Raising Cane's would be sick right now. Let's order some DoorDash." And then we just kind of go from there. And because of that, because I have poor financial ability, when it comes time to spend money on real stuff, it's like it's a fucking turbulent mess, right?
Like, fuck. Yeah.
So, well, what it really is if you come to Vegas in the middle of the month, it's going to be all good because I got that middle of the month money. But when we get to the end of the month, when bills are up, that's when shit gets a little tight. And I got to tell you, NXT here at like the 29th of November or some shit. So we gotta Uber across town. We gotta buy the tickets because I'm not that guy who's gonna be like, "Yo, man, you want to hook it up with some tickets?" I ain't ask for shit. I just want some time for my brother, you know, my hoot brother.
So your origin OCW is one of my favorites, which I've mentioned. I don't know if people understand it or not, but so your origin here was great. I think if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize if I'm wheezing because I'm on the verge of an asthma attack. I think you showed up in maybe I'm gonna say 2012, maybe.
I wonder if I could look and see when I sent the PM.
I don't know. So he showed, in my recollection, he showed up in 2012, and he didn't fill out an application. I don't even know if that was a thing at the time, but he basically showed up and said, "Hey, nice site. Fix your SEO, fix your SEO," and left.
Yeah, when did I say this? I don't see the PM on here.
And then no, it wasn't a PM. You actually put it in the forum. You put it for everybody to see, not just for me, for everybody to see, just to embarrass like the shit out of me. You said fix your SEO, and then you left. And then you came back. I want to say, I don't know if it was a year or 2 years later. I think it was a year.
It was about a year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, you said it was kind of a dick thing. But I was like, I mean, he's not wrong. So I started to like work on it a little bit, and then you came back like, oh, I see some improvement. And then you signed up, and the legend of Bobby Minio was born. And I think like you coming from a EFED background, traditional EFED, where you know you're supposed to write. And I appreciate that. Shout out to Mikey Unlikely. Do you ever meet Mikey Unlikely at all, or?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
We might have been in different circuits though. There's like a bunch of different little EFED pockets and like their own incestuous.
Yeah, there were so many. So yeah, so you was mainly from a writing background, but
I think B17 and I came up in the same circle, if I'm not mistaken. I think
he
was
was
the one who like recognized the old Fed.
He was actually from writing EFEDs too. I didn't know that.
I could be wrong. There's somebody who started chopping it up with me. They were familiar with all the feds that I was in the circle of and stuff, and I think they were familiar because they were active at some point. But they knew like those old feds. It was pretty wild. I think it was B17. I could be wrong. It actually, in retrospect, that'd be kind of weird because he lived in Vegas and he came up in the same EFED scene. Maybe that's a little too convenient. Maybe it was someone else.
Maybe.
Now I feel bad though.
I don't know, but either way, so it was strange because you showed up and you had a writing background, and you know OCW's competitive and writing, so it's like kind of like A and B. But before you even really got started, the other takeaway was not only did you show up a year prior, say fix your SEO and vanish, but then you finally showed up, and then like you see when you showed up, it was a different time in OCW. It wasn't a bad time. It was actually one of the better times in OCW, but my most vivid memory of you, and I've mentioned this in the Discord, and I'll mention it now because fuck it, it's fun and I'm drunk. You got like friendly with Trance in the shout box, and for those who don't know what a shout box is,
He's very welcoming.
Yes, I'll say it again. Shout box is on old forums, you would have something like a shout box where you would type messages and it would interact in real time. It was similar to Discord, but on a smaller scale. So you and Trance were very friendly.
So great you have to explain the shout box to
You
people
know,
from the Discord era. It
millen-
was there. It's like still on the site.
I mean, it is, but millennials. So, Pew shows up, aka Dan, doing what he does, and for the first time ever, he does his horse shit, and then someone comes after him. So you and Dan go at it for I don't know how long, and I always remember because I'm sitting in the shop out going, oh shit. This rookie is just fucking just attack cause Dan would do his bullshit, but you were just going right after him, and it was because you were defending Trent, and it was fucking. I was literally just sitting back looking at hitting refresh in the shout box, hitting refresh to see what was going back and forth.
I have a theory about this.
No, hold on. But okay. the best part was for his name was like, I like you, kid.
Yeah. So would you say that Dan and I are close as far as you knowing Dan?
I don't know like your interpersonal relationship, but I do think
within like the OCW system.
I think he's good. He's cool with you. He likes you.
So I theorize that Dan only ever befriended me and like tried to make me his protege in some ways, solely to spite Tran. Do you know? Like that's the kind of like long game Dan might play on.
Oh my god! I mean, you might not be wrong, but it was just fucking hilarious to me because he's been like that since forever. Like when he first joined, he was like a flake. So when he finally got his footing, he had like king shit syndrome. So the fact that like he came with his king shit and the king shit syndrome and did it to a rookie, and you were like, nah, motherfucker, not today. And y'all literally went back and forth. It was just like watching y'all people spar. I just love the fact he was like, oh man, all right, you're getting my book, kid. You're
Do
all
people
right
realize that him and Jake don't like each other? Is that like a well-known thing?
Wait, him and Jake or him and Jamie?
Jake. Him and Jake.
You mean what? You are Allen? Jake Allen?
Yeah.
No, Jake doesn't hate him. Jake doesn't. No, I think
those two fight like cats and dogs, dude.
They fight, but it's not like from a place of hate. It's just like a place of fucking me and Dan fight all the time. What are you talking about?
Sure, but I think Dan is like the one who Jake really just doesn't
like. No. I honestly, he actually loves Dan's character like the most, which is
sure you can like the character, but I was like on a personal level.
Nah,
Dan's an acquired taste.
I won't speak on a personal level, but I don't think so. I know, like seeing what I've seen, like I don't think it's hate. It's more like I gotta say what I gotta say. Because I
personally think over time they'll warm up regardless.
Nah,
because I think if you stand up to Dan, ultimately that wears him down.
He's such a fucking character. The funny thing is, in person, he's a sweetheart. It's fucking hilarious.
People don't understand half the time he's just working heel, and people work themselves into a shoot.
Oh my god, I love it. Like it depends on my mood. Like sometimes I'm like, ha, and I'm like, come on, man, would you shut the fuck up? Like
I think it's a wider spread thing. I think people probably like they get in the occasional Xbox or PlayStation party, and they're playing and they're like bullshitting. They're like, yeah, man, everyone's pretty cool. Except that Pew guy. That guy's a fucking dick. Like, I'm sure that conversation has been had many times.
Of course. He fucking stinks. I don't like him. I mean, the thing is, he's literally like OCW's Cornette. It's an acquired. Yeah. My favorite is, like, for example, when it comes to, like, Rust, he fought Rust on his alt, right? And Rust did some kind of, like, not cheesy shit, but, like, a little thirsty shit. And Pew called him out on it, and Rust was defending himself. Months later, Danner was right. Like it hit him, and he's like, "Fuck!" And ever since then, Russ is pretty like, Russ is very like on the P's and Q's, and he always calls people out for like any little bullshit. Like so it's funny because you can dislike the person, but the message, if it's sound, it's sound, and it resonates with you, and it's like people get upset that they're like, "Fuck, he is right."
Yeah.
And I think it takes someone to say, oh, fuck, he is right. That person I appreciate as opposed to the person like, oh, fuck him. Because, all right, well, then you're not even understanding what he's saying. Like, I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Because most of the time, he'll say dumb shit, but like when you listen to it, it's like, oh, yep, he's not wrong. It's an opinion,
Or you
but
might
it's
just be
pretty
trying
accurate.
not to hear it.
Exactly. That's the thing. But then other people can be like, I don't care. Like, for example, he went on Spider and Mugen about the anime bullshit, but they don't give a fuck. They just keep doing what they didn't give a fuck.
Well,
but,
no, I mean, I think they deliberately do
of
those things
course.
as long as possible to get heat like that.
I don't even know if it's heat, but it's just like I don't
Somebody
care.
whining about it being too long, I feel like, is the desired effect.
Oh no, I was whining about it being too long because it was,
that's the number one priority, I would assume, is like,
no.
oh man, we're gonna make this thing like 18 minutes long. Fucking Jay's gonna freak.
Yeah, it wasn't even 18 minutes long. These motherfuckers, like, I don't know, dude. I'm not even gonna get into that because it makes me thinking about it pisses me off because he's fucking like. I told him I was like, yo, just cut the video down, and then like I told him I'm like, look, I know you did this gigantic thing. Just give me a version that's about 20 minutes, and then we'll do the true version as a separate video, and we'll do like commentary, and we'll work it all up, and we'll make it a big old thing. Oh, but the people and so then we release this big video, and people are watching like, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? Like, ugh. So I got fucked twice. So the third time it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna give a fuck. Whatever happens, I'm cutting that shit to 20 minutes. I don't give a fuck.
Ain't happening. They'll figure out a way around it.
Of course they will. It's like a cat and mouse game. It's like Catch Me If You Can with fucking two psychopaths.
I would challenge anybody to review that match top to bottom. Like, I try to watch those segments, but then like I come to in the last 2 minutes with dry eyes and drool down my, like Alex in A Clockwork Orange. Basically.
It is fucking. So back to your shit, and this is a little bit more different than me fucking crying like I did with Drago. Thank God for Drago. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was just really me. I was just fed up. Thank God I'm like a little better today. But so your career has been pretty fucking interesting, man. Your gimmick was basically the 3-time X Division contender because you could never fucking win despite being able to write circles around 97% of the roster. And at one point, my favorite moment, my come to Jesus moment with you was those two. You had like 4 pivotal moments.
You love this so much.
I remember all 4 pivotal moments. My favorite was there's 2 of them. My first favorite is you losing to Justin Reyes and like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Put this into context, though. I think this was leading up to me, like supposedly about to have a title feud with Trance.
No, this was prior to that.
Well, it was prior, but like this was leading up to a big match, and then Reyes like spread my asshole open and climbed inside.
And for those who didn't know, Reyes is like, he wasn't a bad guy, but he was just kind of
he was thirsty.
Yeah, and he was kind of adult.
He was young, or at least that was my interpretation. Was that he was kind of like a young kid of OCW?
He was a young lion kind of, and he was also very much adult.
But imagine if a young lion didn't know their place, and they're like, "How about this? Is this good? How about this? Is this good?" That's Reyes.
So yeah,
what I tried to troll him into doing the Man of 1,000 gimmicks, where every week he'd have a new gimmick, but he'd never like bid on.
So but I remember playing GTA with Reyes, and it was he was dressed like Walter White, and it was just the fucking.
That's pretty.
God bless him, because I remember his thing was we would be in firefights, and you just started going. I don't know. He was fucking insane. It was him, Leon, me, fucking. It was like everybody. We're just playing GTA fucking 5, and it was on Xbox 360. It was fucking madness, but. So you lost to this man, and it was kind of you were in your feelings. I remember I
think the bigger issue to me, because I can talk my way out of anything, and I think people who have been watching my stuff for long enough will see me go out and lose a dumb match, and then I have the promo where I like fix it, or I don't fix it by like I take the power back. Yeah. Let me explain to you real quick. Let's do an aside what take the power back is.
Sure.
We a friend of a friend knew a magician guy and they were talking just casually about going to a Vegas strip club, and the magician used to get strippers to. He would just pay them the money for a dance, but then they would have to stand on the table in front of him and look at him through their legs, like bend down and look at him through their legs, and he would do that for the length of a song. It was like this really fucked up thing he would do to them, to like just make them sit there and think about like, why didn't I stay in medical school, kind of thing, you know.
Sure.
And when he was explaining this, another mutual friend of ours, a female, had kind of jumped in and said, "I'd be able to do that." And he said, "Really? How? How would you do that?" And she goes, "I'd take the power back." The idea being she would just be like, "That's right. Look at this asshole looking at my asshole," you know, kind of thing. So I always try to take the power back when I lose a match. So I go have a promo where my guy does something to where I try to use the loss to the benefit of my character's story. But I couldn't do that after the Rays match because it was so fucked.
For
And
some
we
reason.
had to redo it. I don't know if something went wrong or if he was just like, "Hey man, you want to run that back?" And I was like, "Yes, please," because I'm telling you,
Yeah, that
I
was the
think I
thing
got two
too.
whole offensive moves in the whole match.
Yeah, the first one was bad, and the second one was bad. I think that was the other thing that bothered you. And I want to say I talked you off the ledge. I'm not sure if I did. I think I did.
Well, I'm still here.
Yeah, I guess give me the credit. Yeah, I talked you off the ledge, and basically like, yeah, you know, it's calm, but the season's kind of different now, and you're really good writing, so I'm sure you could write whatever. That was the first one, and then the second one that I enjoyed the most was the created content. I remember I don't remember most, but I do remember this specific saying. Jay, I don't die on many hills, but I will die on this hill. I remember
I
that to
just
this
had this
day.
discussion with one of my buddies actually 2 days ago.
You
A
will die on this
non-wrestling
hill.
buddy, but he's in our Expanse game, good Reverend in there. And we
Okay.
were talking about we used to play in this league for NHL. It's like a big league where it's like 6 versus 6 gameplay, but you join teams, and then there's like the sub team, the farm team, and stuff, and you move your way through the league.
Yeah,
And
I remember that. I
I
remember you
just
talking about that. Yeah.
yeah, and I popped into it, and I was just kind of dabbling around because I've been playing NHL again recently, and I saw they had a big game 7 of their like conference final, and I pulled it up, and it's literally just the video is one of the players just streaming to Twitch, and that's it. There's no one talking over it or anything like that. It's just the raw gameplay. And I was thinking, how do they have no fucking pride in this league? All you need to have is like someone, like 2 people, just watch it and talk about it, and they just the visual product of these things that we do, these dumb hobbies, it's the difference between somebody coming across and checking out or being like, oh, it's just a bunch of people jerking off. But like OCW has people who don't compete. Check it out.
Yeah.
Let's
On
not say we have a
occasion.
huge fan base, but if you make something worthy of someone watching as a fan, they might actually watch it from time.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the argument was because I was not. I guess yeah. I'll be honest. I was kind of checking out, and I didn't want a custom arena, and you were like vehement about the fact that we need that because that's what makes us special. You even said, yeah, you said to the point that like you wouldn't compete, like you were like you would be done
Yeah.
if we didn't have. And I don't
The
know who made
branding
the
matters.
arena.
Having an OCW visual product, I think, matters. And
Yeah.
otherwise, it's just a bunch of dickheads playing WWE.
Well, with 2K20, it's just a bunch of dickheads playing WWE because you
For sure.
can't do the arena. But
I forgot that they still don't have that. That's so
no,
ridiculous.
it's the funny thing about that is that is 2K. It's based off 2K18, which is really based off 2K17, which both of them had arenas online. So I don't fucking know what's going on, to be honest with you. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't know who did the arenas that year, but it was done regardless. It's
As
just a
far back
funny.
as I can remember, it's been Kent.
Probably, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say that it was Ken and Pew at one point.
It is kind of a dick move for me to be like, I put my foot down that one of these other 2 people has to do the fucking work.
But
Instead of me being like, I'll do the fucking arena, bro.
yeah, but you know what? It worked out. It worked out. Like you've always had these like pivotal moments, and I had one more in my fucking head. But god damn it, I literally just fucking forgot it. You had like literally one fucking more. Fuck, I can't remember it for shit. I know it was about the arenas, and and damn it. Yeah, it's gone. It's not gonna come back. I was thinking about it. When you were talking, I had it in my head, and then it just fucking dissipated. But
It
yeah.
was the one when you had the whistleblower video of me making all those racial slurs, and you were going to cancel me.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna cancel you. Just fucking,
That's what it was. You were going to cancel me.
just get you out the fucking paint.
We're done with this guy.
We're this fucking guy's as a troublemaker. But yeah, so like I said, your career trajectory has been strange because for the most of the years you've kind of just been, the guy who could talk, but then not that great on the stick. So actually, the last, I'm gonna say 14 was probably your best year to date. And it's funny because you would always come to me like, oh, low key fucking say this shit about me or blah 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 blah. Like, I don't know, like, anything I say about you, like if it's not overly positive, you're like, oh, why are you saying this and da 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 da. But that last season,
I wasn't on the poster, Jay. You buried me.
Yeah, totally.
To this day, I still don't have my little character.
You were literally on on one of the posters prior, the one for
I was on
Summerside,
Summerside 2011, like before I even joined OCW.
Fuck you.
You threw me.
You know what? You were the only cut I had to let me put Bobby on.
I think it was from Here Comes the Pain era.
when you had fucking mutton chops. That shit was amazing. Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm going back to that. Fuck it.
Fucking go back to that. But no, legitimately, it's so even Jake can agree with that shit. We love season 14 Bobby, so we was so fucking like, he was happy because he just likes the character. I was happy because like, oh man, he found his fucking stride. Like it was really nice. Like how long were you it was Pride chat. Wait, was it Pride or it was Pride, right?
Yeah, better part of a year. Basically like I think I won it like the second show. I think I had it until the last show of the year.
It might have been, January to like fucking.
I swiped it. Like those multi-man matches are so silly for title matches. You just get to come in, fuck shit up, and leave with the title.
Assuming most people aren't able to do that consecutively, and you did.
My personal rule is to hit 2 finishers. Like then I feel less shady about it. If I'm like I've laid both of them out, and then I get the pin on maybe whichever one kind of sucks more at kicking out.
Yeah.
Then it feels a little less cheesy if I do it that way, where I've like, I don't know. I try to make it look like a multi-man match in wrestling where it's like you get the guy out of the way and then you go for the other guy,
That's just a smart way to do it. But yeah, no, man, you had a fucking great run. I was so happy calling that shit. Me and Jake were fucking excited. I don't know if you noticed that shit or not.
What I think I struggled with initially the most, and it's like a personality thing. Like some people have this. I see this a lot at work. Is like people don't really understand what the bar is or what's expected of you. And a lot of jobs, you get into the job and they're like, okay, well, go do this job, and you're like, well, what is this supposed to look like? Or what's the floor of this? What's the worst thing I could turn in that's going to be acceptable? So I tried to do FPR, but I didn't really understand where the line was of FPR the way certain people do. Certain people are so much more comfortable with it and with riding the line, I think. Whereas like me, it's like I hit a guy and then you see me, I'll back way off and I try to give them breathing room and stuff. But people are like, dude, you got to get a killer instinct. You gotta be more thirsty. So now I'm just all over people, and then people yell at me for FPR, and I'm like, well, I'll make a note of that and fix that next time. But hey, it is what it is, buddy.
I mean, like, my fucking thing is like as soon as the match starts, super kick.
I love it. It's so fun.
That shit always fucking pops us, man. Like, it just made me really fucking happy to like see you finally hit your stride, and then like you came a little short with Turd Gurdon, and then fucking got the light heavyweight, and of course fucking Spider and his bullshit. Oh my god, that shit still fucking like cheeses my grits, man.
I still think his force field thing is what really threw me off.
I
feel like nothing really came back into view after that force field.
His trash Habibi force field.
Stuff like that just happens to me in this game.
It's random. It's weird because you would think that since it's still, it's the same game you played last season, which I'm hoping.
But things happen then too. I want to say in that Trey match, there's a part where I'm outside the ring up top, and I try to get back in the ring, and my guy climbs the turnbuckle. And I remember that it happens early. It's not like what leads directly to the finish, but it kind of throws my momentum off. You know what I mean? It's like a timeout in a sport. and it kills my momentum.
Yeah, but would they kill it for the duration of the match? Just that moment.
Maybe it's I get too into my feelings. I'm like, this fucking game,
This
man.
fucking game is ruining. I'm just trying to fucking compete. And these fucking
What are
people
you
with the
doing?
fucking game, you fucking ruining everything.
I saw a pro Quake player in 2006 yell at his hand at a tournament.
Yell at his hand.
He yelled at his hand like mid match. This guy is so crates.
Oh
He went
god.
by it that way, not Socrates, but Socrates, like the Bill and Ted.
Of
He just
course.
he grabs his right hand at the wrist and he's going, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yo, so fun side story. So like his name was Socrates. For the longest time, I was Mr. Kraker, but it was spelled cracker. So I would just stay calling myself Kraker though. Like people
That
would
sounds
say,
like a Greek curse word. Kraken.
nah, it was great. Yeah, it's just Mr. I don't know. I got that from my friend, my friend's little brother who passed away. God bless the dead. But yeah, Rafi. But yeah, it was Mr. Kraker, and I haven't used it since. I only used it for like 90. I used it from 95 to like maybe I want to say 2000. I don't know why I don't use it anymore. That shit was dope
When's
to
Mr.
me.
Kraken gonna main event his Lucian?
I fucking bring back Mr. Kraker. But the thing is, when you look at the spelling of it, it would look like Mr. Cracker. Like it's Mr. Mr. and then it's Kraka. It's Cracker, but we would say Kraker for some strange
Just
fucking
give
reason.
Court the Mr. Kraken.
Mr. Kraker, baby. Yo, if Court comes back as Mr. Kraker, I lose my mind. I just fucking start screaming like a
Court's
fucking.
theme music is great for his character, but imagine if he came out to an Uncle Cracker song.
That's the thing. It wasn't based on Uncle Cracker. It was just for some reason like I really don't know the origin of it, but we were just like I remember him writing it because I don't know in the fucking. I don't want to say in the hood because it sounds stupid, but yeah, fucking in the hood. Like, I don't know. We used to tag shit up. Well, not me because I don't know how to fucking write. I have horrible handwriting, but he used to tag shit up. Yeah. You know, fuck you too, because when you got me into your Expanse game, you're like, hey, this is my friend. He's from the fucking ghetto. Sometimes he says dead ass, B.
I say you're from New York and you say dead ass.
Yeah,
That's a New York thing.
I don't do that. I mean, I say dead ass sometimes, but I don't be it like that. Don't ostracize me about being in New York, motherfucker. Anyway, the point I was saying is that I don't tag shit, so he did. And I just remember seeing like, yo, that shit is dope. And he was like, you can have it. I was like, thanks. It was like Mr. Kraker.
Mr. Kraker was born.
It was Mr. Kraker, and then I also had scan and run. Don't ask me why. Scan had like the arrow going like down, and then run had the arrow going like sideways and then up on the back of the end.
You should have been Scantron, and you put people to the test.
Scan and run. I don't fucking know. AOL days, baby. Fucking scan, run. Like what the fuck?
Mr. Kraker sounds like he wears tighty whities pulled all the way up.
Mr. Kraker was a bad motherfucker getting people the AOL passwords back. Fuck out of here. Getting the hoes the AOL password back after they got quote unquote hacked. Fuck out of here.
He looks like he still has an AOL email.
I mean, that's
not in real life, but the character.
Mama. Anyway, what else do I got? I really ain't got fucking anything left, man. I'm just happy that you're fucking here and doing what you do and fucking, as a writer, I've always, even though your shit is mad long-winded, even though like your shit, like I would have to break it up in a little bit. I would always look for the periods to break your shit up. Like, oh God, where's the period? Where's the period? Fuck.
I've tried to think more about that in recent years.
To be mindful.
I try to break it up
a little bit better, but it's still pretty. You know what though? Like you're really the only one who does it, so it's not that bad for the most part. I'm sure there's some people like this season starting to kind of go in that same direction, but the thing is, for the most part, like, all right, let me be honest because I'm drinking now. My favorite, like, if I have my top 3 role players, it would be Dupree, versus, and then you. But you and versus kind of switch between depending on the situation, because you guys more or less have kind of the same style. Dupree's are the best for me because the simple fact is they're well written. They hit all the points, and then they're at a point. They're also like they can go wherever they need to go, and then they're potable, if that's the right word. Your role plays, they hit the points, but sometimes they linger. And the word is not really nuance, but
It's like Tolkien. Tolkien will tell you about the
Minutia.
color and the smell of leaves before he tells you about a sword fight.
Minutia, I guess is the word,
Yeah.
right?
But I don't know, I try to write visually, and sometimes that could take a while to really set things up.
That's the thing, like, that's good, but just like you said, sometimes it takes a little bit too long to wind up. And me as a reader, because I'm a fucking ape, I'm like, oh God. It's for you, it's not oh God, but it's like, okay, I have to focus now. Yes, like I know that if you're writing something, I'm going to enjoy it because you're going to put something in that's gonna make me go. So
I try to get a pop with certain
yeah,
things that are like not like in the meat, but like in the between the lines. I try to get pops.
exactly. So I always wait for one of those, like with Kent, I know that there's one gonna be coming like anywhere, so I'm always good for it. And then versus is more or less the same thing. His writing style is similar to yours, but it's a little bit different because he's not very detail vibrant. He's more of trying to hit like his lines. So sometimes his will be a little bit longer. Like I remember when him and you feuded, I was so fucking happy because it's like this is basically the dream match. Like
That was fun.
I remember the volcano and you coming out of the volcano and just roaring, and I fucking lost my mind because I knew,
boob.
yeah, I knew once you and him got together, I'm like, all right, whatever happens, even until we get to the match. Before we get to the match, the words in between are gonna be fucking golden, and as expected, it fucking delivered. So I'm so happy that at least got to happen once. Did he at one point call you Bobby Mini O's, like the cereal? Or
Yeah,
something? He called you cereal. He called you cereal.
I thought I was never gonna get rid of that cereal thing.
My man called you cereal.
He kind of branded me with that one. I was like, fuck.
Fucking.
I already had to just eat up boob, but I couldn't eat up boob and cereal at the same time. I can't have that.
Cool, Brett. Yo, the thing is, he's such a fucking good person too. Like,
Rich is a good dude.
He's a fucking great dude. So shout out to.
That's why it's so crazy. Drago just buried him so hard because he's such a good guy.
Don't bring that up. How dare you? How fucking dare you?
He's trying to shit disturb.
Don't start this shit, Drago already, motherfucker. Yeah, man. That's a good thing too. Like, it's funny when you meet these people and like they're fucking good people. That's basically what. As I said on the Twitch stream, my thing on the Twitch stream is that. What is the measure of success? And my thing is like the measure of success is the fact that I feel that this fucking my spite-filled quest for the last 15 years has actually brought people together that normally wouldn't have, met or become like friends or whatever. So like you would never met fucking Brenda, or Kent would have never met Pew would have never met me. Fucking like there's just so many people in between that would have never been friends or interacted with each other or worked with each other, collaborated without this weird ass venture that I did out of sheer spite because I was tapped out by a fucking Star Trek reject thinking I was gonna have a great match in 2004. So I don't know if it's success, but I think it's something. I don't fucking know.
Then you took your cookies and came home, made your own OCW.
Yeah, I made it because I remember trying to make it, like, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is like my 20s. I was so full of fucking. I should have been a stand-up comedian. I probably would have been successful. So I was so full of piss and vinegar.
Especially in a place like New York, there's so many clubs to just go to. Club.
You know what's funny? I went to an open mic and I saw how bad they were. Not bad. I shouldn't say bad, but I saw them. I was like, oh. And then I did an open mic, and I remember one of my friends tugboat. Keep it at that, and I don't mix the worlds, but. I did it, and fucking like people laughed, but then I was like, I have to go, I gotta go, because I just like I don't know, like I did like a Mitch Hedberg thing. Like it was weird, but people liked it, people laughed, so I don't fucking know. But
I actually have
such a
material
grind
written down.
It's such a grind though.
When that comedy night came out, that comedy night game came out, I found a couple of rooms where like actual like working, at least open micers, like real life open micers would go in there and like work on timing and bits and give each other feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to be in there. I started actually writing some bits out, as did my buddy. And we would just kind of hang in there for a couple of hours one night and just shoot things around. And it was pretty fun. I'd like to maybe go up, but.
Is it still like popular?
It's pretty dead.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty dead. It'd be fun to get a bunch of hoots in there, do a hoot comedy night.
Oh God, I'm still waiting for like the roast of Sensation, I think that'll be
I
a
do. I think we should do roast. Look. I'm my dream, and I just don't have the energy to quarterback it. My dream would be to create like a second layer of OCW, like to look at OCW as a kayfabe layer, and then create a non-kayfabe layer to OCW where people do shoot interviews,
oh
and then where
god.
people do show reviews like Marks do on, like people were like, oh, my SmackDown review. Somebody should be doing that as a Mark who believes the OCW characters are real people and not people talking like, oh, well, Bobby's got real life issues. Like, I want to see people talk and be like, Minio had these drug problems and stuff. Like, I think that would be so cool for OCW, but it's like it's a lot of work. It's a big undertaking.
It's such a niche of a niche, and even now it's trying to get the word out, and it's an undertaking. Like the simple fact is, like you said, the difference between someone checking out and someone not is the fact that they'll see maybe like rookie versus rookie A and like, what the fuck is this? Ugh. But then they might not see the main event where you have Jake fucking spilling his heart out.
Yeah.
So that's the
I
difference.
think
It's tough, man.
what makes OCW special and why it works is like you have a lot of people who can disappear. Like when I first came in, Versus wasn't around. He was right, but like Versus came back and he got active for a couple of seasons. And I think having a place where people can disappear and live life or get into something else for a while and then come back for a year or two is a huge thing. And you have constant new people who can kind of feed the rest of that time, but then you still have a place to have these people come back and do their stretch and get that out of their system and have fun. But it also makes it feel like there's a real ecosystem where it's like, oh my, it's not just like these legends are just names. Sometimes they actually show up, like in real wrestling, and they might have a feud for a while with some people and do some stuff. You never really know. I think that makes it really cool.
That I mean, that's one of the. I think between you and Versus feuding was one of my favorites, but my secondary favorite is that our good friend Brenda, aka Matsuda, he was during his time, Majin was gone. The hardcore legend Majin, shout out to him, man. He's one of the greatest fucking fathers. Like, just, I don't go on Facebook, but when I do, I see him and he's just fucking being dad of the goddamn year. It makes me so fucking happy because
What's his
he,
first name?
it's Willie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know
So
what? I was literally going to ask you. I was like, "Who is this dude?" Because he's been added on my Facebook, but I had no idea who he
yeah,
was.
is
I assumed he
Willie.
was no.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a good fucking dude, man. Like he looks like someone who would drag me on the back of his truck, but he's such a fucking great human being, son. He's so fucking. It's like I can't say any like. I don't have the words to say how good of a fucking person he is. He's such a great guy. So he's a great father too. So when Matsuda became into prominence, Majin was gone, but we always used to mention Majin because Majin was the fucking hardcore icon of OCW. So I remember that magical season 2016, that magical season where like just fucking all the legends came back. It was fucking crazy. We had PS4, we had fucking every legend come back. It was that season was like incredible. So
OCW is stacked.
that
Yeah.
shit was that season was stacked, but I made mad mistakes when it came to booking. But whatever, I ain't gonna talk about that. But
Well, you had like the early or like the early Attitude Era gang war thing developing, and
yeah,
then Dan and I were like, "Let's just start our own
oh
our
man,
own stable," and it was two guys just like yelling about shit.
it was
Two
fuck.
angry old men who were like, "This card stinks."
It was fucking crazy. It was a crazy fucking era. So I remember that because Matsuda was kind of on the out doing the whole, whatever he was doing, his IRL thing, but he was like, I need this. He fucking like he bothered me daily to fight fucking Majin. He like it was incredible. So he wanted that match so bad, and then I told Majin. Majin was like, oh sure, of course, whatever. So I remember it was a pretty quick build. It wasn't like that great of a build, but they had the match, and then like Suda won at Lucian, and then Majin got the win back at the following pay per view. But I remember they're both fathers at the time. I think Suda was having his first kid, and that was Majin's first kid as well. They were fighting at Lucian, right? But
Dad battle.
they both had their kids like in their arms while they were fighting. So they were fighting, and they were going, "That was awesome. this is great. Like they're popping, but they're whispering so they don't wake up the kids. And like I heard like the dad battle, and it always I loved it. Like when I heard that, I was like, this place is awesome. Like that made me legitimately fucking happy about this fucking weird ass hobby. That's the benefit about OCW is I think that even though our culture can be somewhat considered toxic or even rugged, I like to consider that my culture is, or the culture in OCW is more like, it's less LA in a comedian sense and more New York in the late 90s, early
Yeah,
2000s.
when you can hang, I guess. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to in the future do like have a few people sit down and do like a roundtable podcast about e-fedding and
Yeah.
about how OCW in the lens of an e-fed. I think there's like a big topic in that I've always kind of wanted to talk about, but I don't think we have time to like really dig into that.
There's so much like nuance in that kind of a topic. But
Yeah,
I think, but the thing is, that's the culture that I kind of bred, and sometimes it makes me a little bit upset, but I also appreciate it because people are less fake. While I would appreciate people to be nicer and like more courteous or kind or polite, I do appreciate the fact that, if someone sees something like, ugh, they're going to say it. They're going to talk about it. They might not be, some people might be a dick about it, but for the most part, they get their point across, as opposed to being like, maybe you shouldn't do it. That passive aggressive bullshit or whatever, like LA comic style.
I
Like,
mean, some people still can drop things a little passive aggressively, to be honest.
mm,
But I don't always think it's meant to be that way. I think it's actually people trying to like walk on eggshells about it and not
mm.
rock the boat too much. But it comes out worse in times, I think.
I just think I heard your kitty cat too. Oh, poor
Yeah,
kitty
that's my
cat.
buddy.
Oh. I
Little
just
Kenzie.
kind of like, I like that for better or worse, that's the kind of environment that I've procured. Because even myself, like if I don't like something, I'll talk about it. I'm not gonna be like, well, maybe you should. I'll give like, I'm not gonna try to be a dick about it, but I'm not also gonna sugarcoat it and try to like pat you on your tushy and tell you did a good job. Like if you fucked up, you fucked up. Like for example, Parker fought Blacksmith, and that was first that was supposed to be a riot match. Couldn't happen on riot. Moved it to turmoil. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I want to make it. Fuck it. It feels like a big match. I'm gonna make it the main event. We made it the main event. Parker got the dog shit kicked out of him in like 10 minutes.
Yikes.
Yeah, that happened. You can check that out on third. That happened like yesterday. So rather than be like, oh man, you'll get him next time, I was like, yo, why the fuck you get the dog shit kicked out of you? He got nervous because I guess he was in the main event. He's a rookie, and
Wait,
I
are you
don't
talking
know.
about you're not talking about Parker Stevens?
No, I'm talking about El Parker,
My bad.
yesterday rookie.
Parker or Elliot Parker?
El Parker, sorry, yeah, I'm
So not
drinking. El
Parker
Parker,
Stevens and not
no,
not
El Parker,
Elliot.
no. Elliot Parker actually fought Justin Just the same show. I'm talking about
Okay.
El Parker, the
I mean, they're
luchador
kind of
from
both
my.
El Parker if you take a couple letters off.
Technically, there's actually three Parkers. There's El Parker, there's Elliot Parker, and there's fucking Parker. You know what? Fuck it. Someone's gonna have to get the name change.
My next alt is going to be Parker Lewis because he can't lose.
I got that reference. Understood that reference.
Okay, boomer.
Right? Old as fuck. Oh, I'm old. We you know what? Because I'm old as fuck is why we're still going. Because if you look at the EFES, they fucking fold within like a year or two.
Dude, that's kind of one of the topics I want to get into about that thing. But
Go into it. We got time. I'm
I've been
drunk and
I've
I'm
been
not
in
half asleep either. So go for it.
dozens of e-feds between when I was in the original like Fire Pro, the Super Fire Pro Wrestling X Premium feds back in like the late
Yeah.
90s. I could still rattle that off so
Oh, I
fast.
love it.
I probably couldn't do the acronym, but I could do the full thing. But when I first got into those things, it would like run super hot, and people would be like way into it for 6 months, and then whoever was running it would be like, "Oh, I got grounded," and then it would fold. And it would fold, and then everyone would reform 3 months later in a new Fed, and it would be all the same people, sometimes even the same staff. We'd have like a new name or whatever, or like another one would come back. And then when I got to the other e-feds that are more writing based and stuff, and didn't and use like Poser 3D for the characters,
Yeah.
it was kind of the same thing. They'd run for like a year or two, but then they'd fold, and then everyone would pop back up in a different Fed or migrate to one of the other ones that was already running. It was like you'd just see everybody from this Fed popping up all of a sudden, all debuting at the same time and shit. And they just don't run that long. It's like people might do it for years and years and years, but the feds themselves are a spinning wheel, basically.
It is, and that was one of the tenets of me and OCW. I was like, I don't want that. Like,
I have a feeling those CAW feds run that way too, where they constantly
yeah.
fall apart, and then everyone shows up at a different one.
Honestly, I can't speak to those because while they're on my timeline, I honestly don't know.
How
There's
many
only
handlers are in a CAW fed?
a lot, maybe.
Is
I
it a
don't.
lot, or is it like 3 people handling 8 characters at
Nah,
once?
I think it's a lot because the varying. It depend. I guess it depends on the league or the Fed or whatever. That's the other thing too. Like they call themselves E-Feds, but in the traditional sense, they're not E-Feds to me because E-Feds involve some kind of writing, but they call themselves E-Feds. And
But, like, what do they okay, so what do you bring to the table as a CAW fed guy? You just bring your CAW and a Twitter profile?
you bring a Twitter profile that I guess gets a lot of retweets and likes, and I guess which equals
Yuck, by the way. Fucking yuck.
which equals exposure. Dude, the first time before Valk became a content creator, Valk actually made an account and wound up closing his account because he was just like, "What the fuck?" Like it was crazy because he showed
Good.
up. He showed up and then like he was just immediately got a bunch of followers and it was just weird. Like
He was
people,
probably getting WWE character dick pics in his DM.
I don't know, man. That was the first go round. He was like,
CAWs were sliding into his DMs like, "Hey, you wanna wrestle sometime?
he
No holds barred."
he was like, I gotta go, and he bounced. It was crazy. Like he would send us in the Discord like some of the DMs he would get or what he experienced. He was like, it was crazy. Like he wanted at one point he wanted to like get experience with I guess call story shit that they do, but they were like they don't want to. The people he applied to, they were like they don't want to do that because he doesn't have experience. So it's like how are you supposed to get experience if the people you get what I'm saying? Like
We have that problem too, though.
who LCW you think?
It's gotten a little better. Sorry, I just hit my vape pen and I'm coughing.
No problem. No problem. So make your point. Might as well get my CBD pen before
It's
I get
gotten a
my
little
shit
bit
tomorrow.
better. Yeah, sorry. That's terrible. That's bad form for. I think OCW has a lot of people.
You can do it.
Man, I've been smoking all day too. I don't know why this like laid me out.
I don't know, but go ahead. You can get the point. I'm sure you
OCW
get
has
it.
a lot of people who I think are willing to work with new folks and like check them out more than ever, maybe now.
Okay.
And kind of going to your point a couple of minutes ago about how you've cultivated this potentially toxic environment and stuff. It's gotten so much better. Like
Yeah.
we've had like a build the Ma era, and we're past that build the Ma era. You realize that, right?
Yeah. You think like all right? Well, what do you mean like? Because I don't.
I would say I joined at the height of what I would consider the Mott era OCW,
You think
where like
really?
people were abusive, yeah, and brutal. And you would get into a party and it would be like a roasting session and shit. And I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I don't join parties that much anymore, so maybe I could be totally wrong. That still goes on as emo. But I think in general, the site, like, we used to just destroy each other in the feedback threads. It used to be like a fucking war zone at times. Armies would mobilize and it'd be like da 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 the hoots, and then all hell would break loose.
So here's a fun story. Fuck it, I can say it. So there's a guy who used to wrestle in Progress by the name of hold up, I'm trying to check my pen.
Austin Theory.
No. I was trying to make sure my fucking vape pen is not fucked up. Not my vape pen, but my vape my CBD joint's not fucked up. I thought it saw some kind of weird fucking build up. Anyway, I was freaking out like what the fuck am I ingesting? This is probably where my fucking heart's gonna stop. Anyway, so there was a guy in he was in Progress, but he was also in OCW like years and years ago.
In English.
No, stop it. Stop guessing.
Big John Haystacks.
Sebastian.
Haystacks Johnson.
Sebastian.
Okay. Crane.
No, I think it was just Sebastian. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So he was in OCW, and when he joined in like I don't know 2006, he was part of the PS4 division of OCW, which was Europeans in OCW, and they had like this weird European style, which was like crazy. Like it was very hyper, it was very aggressive, it was very try-hardish. And that was the European PS4 division. They were from EWA. And we wound up merging with EWA because I was fucking Vince McMahon back in the day. It was great.
Xbox Strong style.
I was fucking crazy, son. I was bananas back in the day. So
Bought out Heyman.
brought out a lot of people, man. Like this, like I got Nate and RD Money and Nate came from a place called XWA, who I saw.
Hold on.
What?
I always thought Nate was homegrown for some reason.
Nate and RD Money were from a Fed called XWA. I wound up running into XWA and I saw that I saw both of them. I think they had matches or role plays. Like, oh, these are nice guys. And then I remember that XWA was like, oh, we're folding because we're fucking useless. Like, you know how they always do. Like you said it. They would be active and then they would die. So I spoke to the owners of XWA and I was like, hey man, I know you guys are stopping. If you want, I can run a show for you. Your last show, I'll do it for you. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'll accommodate. And I did their last show. It was XWA Last Stand. And if you look, you can probably find the images for it. It's pretty interesting. It was like Butch and Sundance Kid. It was like Butch and Sundance Kid, XWA Last Stand. So they had the Last Stand show, and it was RD Money and Nate Ortiz. And there was supposed to be a bunch of people coming with them, but it wound up just being RD and Nate. And that's where I got them from.
XWA Last Stand, and I actually got an Austin Theory match, Last Man Standing match at XWA.
It's hilarious, but that's not it. But I'll find the photo for you somewhere. I don't know. It's there. It's there in my fucking photo archives of OCW horse shit. But I wound up grabbing RD and fucking Nate, and the rest was history. Just like 2005, 2006 maybe. It's crazy. But I was real like into building the brand and growing and trying to find good people and shit like that. So at one point we were working with EWA, which was a PS4 league, and they were cool with us. Building friendships, but they had their own distinct, really aggressive Euro style. So Kareem, aka Sebastian, was one of the members there, and he used to go by Kareem TGO, which means for the great one. So he was like the king shit. So I remember he was booked for the very first Lucian, and he fought Steve Johansson, which was basically a shitty version of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Which is an EFED thing too.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Oh my
The Rock or
god.
Stone Cold.
Oh my god. It was. The funny thing is that Kareem looked like, Kareem was an original call, but Johansson was basically Steve Austin with fucking jorts. So whatever.
I kind of wish that it was actually like a Punjabi Steve Austin, and that was Kareem's gimmick.
No. So anyway, so this was Lucian 1, like, oh my god, fucking 15 years ago. And Kareem was king shit. We finally had I believe, oh no, they were both PS2. So since it was Lucian 1, if people were whatever, we would kind of divide them accordingly. So since they were both PS2, SmackDown versus Raw, they fought each other. So going into it, we were like, oh god, there's no way Johansson's gonna win, because all the OCW Europeans were trash, but the EWA Europeans were fucking monsters. You had you had Lochi, you had Kareem, you had Vega, you had The Air, you had Leon Hart, you had Spoon. That's where all they came from. They came from there, all those dudes. So they were fucking beasts. And our Europeans, we had Danny Williams and Steve Johansson and some other dude, and they were fucking trash. So when Kareem and Johansson fought, like, Kareem beat the dog shit out of Johansson. But I don't know how, but Johansson hit an STO and pinned Kareem. Son, this was the height of discussion, because that Lucian thread was 20,000 views and about 20-something pages of discussion, which is mostly people bitching, going back and forth. But the point was, to bring it all back around, was that that was just a different era. People were voracious. People were sharks. And there was discussion, good or bad. Like, people call shit out, and it was fucking crazy. And to follow that up, go ahead.
This is something else that I think people didn't really realize. Some people knew it, but there were like a lot of people who realized that controversy gets feedback threads going, so they
Yes.
would
Yeah.
deliberately go out of their way to like get something stirred, whether they really cared or not. They would like make snide comments until something went off,
True.
and it was like then they would pat themselves on the back, myself included, like another successful feedback thread. You know,
Yeah, Spider's notorious
that
for that
doesn't happen.
shit. Spider tries to do that shit every now and again. There's been some monumental threats. Another favorite one was maybe in the mid 2000s aughts or whatever, where I guess this is the Bobby / X history podcast, but I remember people were giving me shit for like, oh, you're protecting Nate, you don't want him to fight so and so, and I
You
was
probably
like,
were protecting me.
nah,
I'm gonna agree. I wasn't
nah,
there, but I'm gonna.
nah, I wasn't. It was it was that time. I don't think, I'll be honest with you, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful tone, but if you were around that time, you probably wouldn't have lasted because you would have been fed up. Because there was a lot of Grammy shit going on during that day. Like that time,
Yeah.
that was crazy. You would have been like, "Fuck this place," because I remember Versus used to write like these fucking beautiful promos, and no one gave a fuck. He would come to me. He would come to me. And he would be like, "Yo, why am I doing this?" I'm like, "Dog, I like him. Do you like him?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, then fuck everybody else. If you enjoy him and I enjoy him, fucking, don't do it for everybody. Do it for you." That was the thing I told him. Like, do it for you. Fuck these people. And he did it for himself. So it worked out. But I remember that shit because I remember these discussions with him. But like in that era, the golden era, quote unquote, I like the golden era, but the golden era was it was real bad, son.
Super grimy.
Son.
I think you have a lot of people who, in like recent years, were sort of from those eras and had some of that still left
Kinda.
over, kind of, and you would see things happen. But I think the reaction was probably a lot different, so it would get shut down after a while.
Well, to be honest with you, from the golden era, there's not really many people left, to be honest. Like, it's more people nowadays are from the ambition era. The only people from the golden era is kind of like, me, Morrison, but Morrison doesn't compete. He's just there like as a spirit animal. Maybe Leon, kind of. Yeah, everybody else is like that era is kind of gone. It's dead and gone. It was like it's not like it was kind of like an attitude era, but it was really just when I look at the scope of shit that I did and what people did, I was like, fuck, dude. I would have to tell people that they're fighting and not tell them that it was for like anything special because if I did, they would play like shit. I would have to
Did
like
you steal Dupree from another Fed, or was he a homegrown
no.
OCW?
Dupree, Matsuda, Patalomai, and Dismo all came together at the same time. I remember because I was actually more personable back then, and I grabbed all four of them. I put them in an Xbox chat. And I was like, "Hey guys, welcome to the site. I'm glad you guys found the place, and if you have any questions, let me know. But I want to let you also know that in 2 years, y'all gonna hate this place. Ha ha ha! No, that'll never happen. 2 years later, yeah, you were right.
I feel like
All of them.
Pato is somebody that their loss, I think, has set OCW back in ways, and not in
A
a way
little
that's
bit,
a dig
yeah.
on OCW.
Nah,
But I can't
yeah.
imagine where OCW would be if Pato was around and active all these years.
I mean, it's not new heights, but the missing of Pato was kind of a hit. And the fucked up thing about it is that he came back during 2K16, but he was on PS4 with Leon, and then he kind of just faded away again. And it just sucked because I liked
It's
him.
a shame.
He was a really good fucking dude, man. It just
Yeah.
the
I think the Fed would be bigger, not like bigger prominently, but I think the roster would be bigger because he was so important for retention at that time.
he
Because
was,
I would have had no
yeah.
idea what I was doing had he not taken the time to tell me.
That's true. Yeah, he was the dude that. Yeah, I mean Jake doesn't now, but Pato was the guy
Jake's
that did it
pretty
back in the
good.
day.
Jake is actually kind of similar in a lot of ways, except Jake talks on his microphone,
Mm-hmm.
which Pato did not talk on his
No,
microphone.
he refused, and it was fine. But you know what? Not for nothing, I honestly think that Pato might have been a chick.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I would
Pato might.
totally agree with
I
that.
think Pato might have been a chick because the thing is, whenever Pato came back, it was because Leon Hart got Pato to come back, and Pato only came back, like in very short spurts. And then like when he came back, he was like, "Can you not tell anybody that it's me?" I'm like, "It's fine, dude." Like he
You're
was
saying
here.
Leon and Pato are fucked.
You're a dick. That's why I like you.
Sorry.
You're a fucking asshole. But yeah, nah. It's
You like
great.
that I italicized fucked?
Of course. I felt it. I felt it. Fuck yeah, it sucked, man. Cause he was a genuinely good person, or he or she was a genuinely good fucking person. It's just a straight. This place has such strange, like it's such a. I wish somebody chronicled this shit because it would make a really interesting book. Honestly,
Yeah.
but there's so much fucking goofy shit will never be chronicled. But yeah, I try my best
There's
to
too
archive.
much. It's too much content to
There's
absolutely chronicle, unfortunately. Like,
there's so
wrestling alone is hard enough, but this is a lot of content.
dude. But before your time, we used to have 4 shows a week, man. At
That's
one point,
obscene.
it was obscene, and now we do one, and they're jam packed. It's that's usually why I always feel a type of way when it comes to like call shit and then OCW shit, because it's like, yo, we outwork these people like on every fucking week. What the fuck? But the thing is, people don't like to words, bruh. Word. You gotta read. I don't want to read anything. I just want to use my Twitter clout.
But I mean, like, they don't even use their Twitter in a way like, look, we go beyond wrestling in a lot of ways and get weird and creative in the anime nonsense and all that. And people do their own thing, and that's fine. But it still feels so much more like a wrestling show than what that is, kind of. Even though they're just video, the whole like just having them, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm peeking into somebody's like weird um, like 18 plus role play scenarios rather than a wrestling fed thing. And
Yeah.
I think they probably all have cyber sex with each other. They all cyber. I'm going to put that out there and put that officially. Everyone in the cause scene cybers with each other.
You think?
They're all knife perverts, yeah. Or keyboard perverts.
They're all night perverts. Jesus Christ. Dude.
They seem like Second Life people. And not like in the way like Mugen goes in there and it's like fun and he does it for a laugh, but I mean, and like, or like the DJ, but I mean, like they seem like the Second Life people that you read about, and you're like, ugh.
I mean,
or like furries, they're like wrestling furries.
Maybe not all of them. I don't think, because
I think a lot of them are like that.
Well, the dudes that I interviewed when I did the series on call stuff, they were all fucking on the level, and I still like not interact fully, but I kind of see what they're posting and retweeting and shit like that, and I'm down with it. It doesn't bug me, but there is a giant subset where like I'll see stuff that comes on my timeline. I'm like, I don't understand what they're talking about, and it's like these goofy people being racist. I'm like, what the fuck? Or like
they're talking in their weird they're
not even talking in character. It's just that they've been
foreplay language that they have.
They've been like outed in chats and shit like that. It's weird. Or there's a lot of guys. Here's the thing. There's a lot of guys that play chicks, which is whatever. But it's all right. So I give you an example. So somebody like tried to join a while ago, a couple months ago, and they were like, oh, like I didn't know that there was a thing. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm not very accommodating when people hit me up on DM. Like, a surefire way for me to tell you to go fuck yourself is for you to tell me to DM you. It's like, why? I don't give a fuck about you. What the fuck you need me to DM you for? Like,
they're trying to open it up and get lewd with you.
Yeah, like
that's what I mean. Like, there's just a weird air of like kink.
No, it's not really kink or creep. It's just like this weird narcissism and entitlement. But I remember like people used to be like, oh, y'all DM me, whatever. And I'm like, no. So
it
what?
Seems like
so I can
if the chess club catfished each other is what they come off.
Kind of, but it's like DM them so that they can like join OCW. It's like, I don't know. You want to join? Read the fucking handbook. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, son. Like, get out of here.
Oh, they think they're gonna get grandfathered in.
Yeah, like, or they're gonna they're gonna like big time me to get in. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, son. Like, the people here work. You don't work. You care about putting yourself over, which is great, but I don't give a fuck.
That's what I do.
Like, it's like I remember like people would like I have quite a few things would like DM me. I'm like, no.
So this is kind of what happens in the GTA roleplay community. It's kind of a bitch to break your way in manually. Kind of like the equivalent of coming into OCW and filling out the form and getting accepted and stuff. That shit's a bitch. So what you do is you just show up when you're semi-famous and you DM somebody important on Twitter and then you just get invited and you get to learn the rules on the fly rather than having to learn them before you get accepted like
Of
everyone else.
of course, like, you
And I
know,
think that the Caw people, between their kinky bouts of cybersex, I think they build so much up in their head that they're like, we're Twitter celebrities. So
I
I'm
don't
gonna hit this dude up and he's just gonna let me into OCW and I'll figure it the fuck out.
I don't think they're all kink, but okay. Just want to make that clear. I don't
I'm
know.
really confident about this for some reason. I'm like scary confident of I feel like eventually I'll have that moment where it comes out like there's a Vice article or a Motherboard article about the kinky community of Caw wrestling, what you don't know happened behind.
The
And then
kinky
I'll be like, see, remember when I talked about this on the podcast? And I'll pat myself on the back. I'll be like that.
the kinky call community by fucking Darren Weisberg. But nah, so like, you know, I would get that and I just ignore it. And then I had somebody that wanted to join and they were like, you know, they're like, oh, I was like, look, they kind of gave me the spiel and I was like, I just linked them the handbook. I'm like, there you go. Good luck. I don't give a fuck. I'm really like not good. Like, I'm not good with people like that. Don't talk to me with some bullshit.
That's code for kick rocks in the Caw community.
I guess. So then they like, oh yeah, and they never joined. But the funny thing is that a couple of weeks later, I wound up seeing that person talk about how they're getting ostracized for being a guy playing a female. I'm like, what the fuck? Like the thing is, I don't care either way. If that makes any sense, I don't give a shit.
That's OCW, right?
What do you mean?
Guy playing a female?
Nah, there's some do it. Most do it, but not well. I think the only lady we got is Amp. Shout out to Amp. I love her. She's a weirdo.
She's the queen. Yes,
She
queen.
she's the best though. I'm like, hey man, can you do some artwork for me? She's like, yes. I'm like,
That must be pretty cool.
I'm like, do you want money? She's like, no. She's gonna be a dentist, so I'm happy for her. She's a good egg. Her banter level is fucking off the charts, B. I don't know what the fuck it is, but her banter, like, she'll just tell you to go suck a dick. It's fucking crazy.
She banters in gifts and like fan
she
like
banters in
K-pop fan
she
cams.
she banters in gifts, and then like she'll also just tell you to go fuck yourself. It's like, are you bantering or are you legit? She's like, banter. Like, I don't know. Like,
Does she know that you're an anti-dentite bastard?
I don't fucking know, dude. I just wanted to shout out to Empress. That's it, because she's a good egg. But yeah, I think everybody else is a dude. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I heard Emp is cool and does artwork for people. That's pretty cool.
Except you, because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, that must be nice.
It must be great. Fuck you, Bobby.
One day I'll be on my deathbed. I'll just be rolling around in a hospital bed, and then someone will just text me, and it'll be a little drawn Minio, and then I'll just roll over him.
I got what I wanted.
That's right. And instead of actual flowers, what people do is make origami flowers out of that printed out picture and throw that onto my coffin as they lower me down, and I'll finally. It'll be my Hall of Fame entry in OCW, and then my poster appearance on
Resolution, like resolution maybe 27.
Can I confess something I've wanted to do as a title holder in OCW?
Sure.
But I pussied out on it after I won.
Confess away.
I want to play like a heel, but like to OCW, to the handlers and not as a character.
Oh, no.
So I want to cheat really bad as a title holder, and I want to get myself counted out when I'm losing really bad, and like little Weasley things like that. And I think it would be a real way to gain real heat in the Fed. I tried to pitch it to Spider and Pew actually. Pew was going to do this at one point, and then he pussied out too.
You know, it's funny. Like, you're not the first person to think about that.
I want to do it so bad.
Like, the problem with that is, like, it kind of, well, knock my mic out the hand. Like, it kind of toes that line that, you know, you don't.
That's what I mean. That's the reason I haven't done it, because I realize it ultimately wouldn't work, right? It would just cause too much.
Yeah.
But in my head, it's hilarious. And I have like a 4 pay-per-view map in my head about how I would weasel out of into doing it. Maybe someday. Maybe if I can find a way to do this to where it gets me to Lucian in a main event, I'll do this.
I mean, the way OCW, like, see, this is the thing with OCW were competitive. Like, if it was storylines, it would be like less of a headache, but then it would be more of a headache because, see, right now I can judge you on your written work and I can judge you on your Mac match work. Jesus
Matchwork.
Christ, I am fucked up. I am fucking. I'm surprised
Don't
I'm not.
judge me on my Mac work. I'm a PC guy.
I'm surprised I'm not fucking slurring at this point. But yeah. So the thing with Caw is that I always bug was like you can't really judge somebody on their work because I don't know. At least with regular text EFED, you can have the judges judge the wordplay and whatever and the context. OCW we have wordplay and then matches. So the problem is fuck. I almost lost my point. Oh no. Sorry. The point was is that with storyline stuff people will be like, well, why am I jobbing? It's like, oh, well, because we got to do so and so. When I can just say if it was OCW style, it's like, because you fucking whack, suck my dick, you garbage, get out of here, like whatever. Like you fucking lost 7 in a row, eat a dick. Like,
It is funny that we have two main metrics you can look in, or three, I think. There's visual design, like how your character is presented,
sure,
because that was a big deal when I joined.
I
People were like,
was.
people would pull you aside and be like, "Dude, you're a tire of shit. We got to
Mm-hmm.
fix that." Like it was a big deal to people.
Yep.
But so you have the visual product of how your character looks and how you carry your character and stuff. You
Yep.
have the writing, and then you have the gameplay. Whereas most of the time, it's one of those three, if that. I guess Caw is just the visual shit, right? And then
I mean,
writing feds are the writing, and
yeah.
then just like competitive gaming is the gameplay.
Competitive gaming is like people like in the call community, they don't even think it exists. So whenever I'm around, I'm like, it's here, please,
You just
please.
have to have so many rules that it kind of almost doesn't feel like the game. Like what we do turns WWE into something beyond WWE.
Yeah, for the most part. Like when it's done properly, like a lot of times you'll see people doing like, ooh. But then when you
Funny
have,
enough, those NHL leagues operated very similarly, where they had to ban certain, cheese goals and things like that, kind of like how we have to ban certain cheese aspects of the gameplay.
yeah,
Ultimately, these developers release such a poor product that you have to fix it with rules.
it's like Smash, where you gotta come up with shit to make the game a little bit more competitive, a little bit more even, and then a little bit more fun for people. And I'm just kind of glad that we kind of got there. I guess I remember FPR was always a work in progress, and more to your help or more to your input, like it's kind of gotten where it needs to be. I remember you're the one of the guys that wrote the first detailed new era handbook, and thank you so much for that.
I really like, I tried pitching this to you that I think you should almost license it to. I think, I don't know
Nah,
realistically
they
who
don't
would
give
ever do
they
that,
don't
who would
give
ever pay for that.
they don't give a fuck. Not only do they not give a fuck, but we've already experienced people taking our shit and just saying it's theirs.
That's the thing, they just take it. But I mean, even if they did it just for free and like credited OCW's rule set or something with a link on their
Yeah,
handbook.
we've
Um,
Bobby, we've been through this. Remember, they've taken our shit. They say it's their own
it was
shit.
different because they just took it, and it was blatantly ours, including with our RP,
Yeah, that was the
like
best
our
part.
RP sample with our character names was in the
Yeah,
fucking thing. It was
that was the best. Even before that, people would always fucking steal and not
yeah.
like I would say literally just fucking put where you got it from. Look, I'll make it easy for you. Just say you got it from OCW Fed. You don't even have to put a link that sends us to OCW that sends you to OCW Fed. Just fucking just say where you got it. And people couldn't even do that because people suck. People are fucking garbage. It's just
Yeah, it's
whatever.
just I really think it's a valuable rule set that makes the game playable and makes it competitive in a lot of ways, and I think it's worth people using it as a branded. In rock climbing, they have different grading scales, a couple of different grading scales, but they're like almost universal, and people know them. You could be like, "That's a such and such, like 6.5A or some shit." Um, and with that being so universal, I think multiple EFED should consider using FPR because it's just that important and useful and effective.
It would be nice, but the fact is, like most people don't even do comp anymore. They just do Sims, which is whatever. Then they do that highlight reel shit, which is like the call
Big time
narcissists
yuck.
do. Yeah, it's funny when I spoke to the big dude about it, the Nick Virtue fella, he could not stand like comp at all. Like he could literally only watch about maybe 10 seconds before he's like, ugh. But by that same token, if you put me in front of like a highlight reel match, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. So
I
like
do like the
it's just
idea
different
of
stroke for different
two
folks,
players
man.
working a match. You know what I mean? Like two players like literally calling spots in a party and working a match to make a good.
Yeah,
I'd be
that's what
curious what that you could make that look like.
that's highlight reel, and I've seen it, and I don't like it.
Maybe they're just not as good as players. Like imagine if you get Mugen and Dupree to put that together. They call a match together, or Drago and Mugen or whatever.
I mean, yeah, but excuse me, sorry about that. I'm just saying that from what I've witnessed, it's basically like it's just like young buck matches over and over. That shit does not entertain me at all. It's like trying to be pseudo.
Yeah,
It's like
I
trying to
see
be
what you're saying.
pseudo.
It looks too.
It looks like pseudo
Yeah,
NXT. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
you could see it in OCW when people are letting someone win or trying to set up spots together. You can see it, but I wonder if like people would be good enough to hide that more, where it looks competitive.
I mean, that's a can of worms that I won't be prepared to open up. But I guess if you look really hard, you might be able to see it if it happens. I'll leave it at that.
Let's do that. Let's do a whole podcast where we
Mm,
just go through match by match and say this is work. They work this. The Sons of
these motherfuckers, they're not playing by the rules. I hate them.
this isn't comp.
This is fucking bullshit. Is what that fuck that is. This is fucking garbage. Is what that is. So, do you have any parting thoughts we can discuss before you wrap it up, or are you good? What's up?
Well, let me. I kind of want to tell my story, right?
Tell your
So,
story, bro. We
starts out
got time. Fuck it.
born and raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey, chestnut eyes, almond shaped, and dark chocolate. uh, to my mother, a hardworking casino worker at the time. She was a single mother at the time as well because my dad had. I'm just kidding. I just want to see if like I could really get you to be like, no, no, not this long thing.
I don't give a fuck, son. I'm like the dude. I can't even see in front of me. I'm fucking doing smoke rings right now with this CBD. Hopefully, I don't fucking die. So whatever. I don't give a shit.
Parting thoughts are.
Well,
I
I
don't
know at
have
one point
anything
you had
set.
questions for me, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah, why are you such a blockhead?
I don't fucking know, dude.
No, I wanted to grill you on the cause stuff a little bit, but I feel like we touched on that already.
Yeah, for the most part, unless there was something else you missed. It's not. I don't. The thing is, I don't hate them because I've been. It just low key always bugs me that a lot of this shit like kind of gets
My
like
problem is just
props.
their perversions.
Maybe my problem is that they get props, but it's not. They don't put in as much work as we do, and I feel like it's not their fault. It's my fault for not being able to market what we do properly, and that kind of eats at me. But then again, I'm also old as fuck, and
No,
I make poor life
realistically, I think the
decisions.
problem is a handler problem because and this includes me, we don't put enough work back into OCW as fans as we do. And some people do, but as a whole. Whereas I think the cop feds are very masturbatory, where like they
Yeah.
do the stuff and then they also like, oh my God, this match is so good. Ugh, like they jerk off all over it. Yeah. And then they
Yeah.
sit on Twitter and they do a lot of self Dutch ruddering to each other, right? Of fan servicing to make it look like it's getting props, but it's all just them talking about themselves.
I mean, sure, maybe it's not. Yeah, I think that's the pet peeve for me because, like, I'm basically here to say, like, we outwork everybody. I believe so, just for the simple fact that every fucking Thursday and every pay per view is like, damn, like that's how
So
I feel.
this is something you brought up earlier. I didn't get a chance to touch on this, but when you're talking about the Patreon thing, I honestly, genuinely believe, like, I get the idea, I get the counter argument to it already. I've argued myself about this to a point where I haven't really said anything, but I almost think OCW should almost have a dues system, like kind of maybe even run
Yeah,
through Patreon.
you mentioned that, but the problem with that is that opens up another can of worms that I'm not prepared
Yeah,
to deal with. I can't.
sure, that's a good point. And I mean, it is also valuable to have something where people can just like have the game, jump on and
Yeah.
participate. I get that, and that's why I've like talked myself out of it, but I like almost like you have to pay for access to like uh, you know, a paintball field that you go to or a golf club or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you pay your dues to this thing that's your outlet, your hobby. And I think this has reached a level and requires a level of work to where realistically we probably should to keep it healthy and keep it going.
Well, the issue that boils down to, like, is excuse me, Jesus Christ, I smoke everywhere. Fuck, smoke weed every day.
Cheech
No,
and J.
yeah, right. Cheat, fucking drinking and thing. So the problem I have with that is that like, because there was another place that actually did that. That they charged people, and their prices were fucking kind of crazy.
Yeah,
And
that sounds crazy.
the thing is that I remember seeing people saying that they spent $60 and they didn't even get booked, and they've been paying $60 for like 3
That is
months.
kind of crazy too, and
That
that
is
does add
insane.
another layer.
That isn't. I don't want to do that. So the idea of the Patreon is basically, at one point it was to like fund the forum, which I don't know if I'm gonna ever do or not. But now the purpose of the Patreon is to just kind of pay the bills, so I don't pay them myself, and then occasionally
I
I
think
can
that's
buy.
more than fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
and
far as like
occasionally,
us footing.
yeah, and then what, like if I do anything that involves like production, like I don't know, whatever, I don't know, other shit, I'll use money for Patreon, but mostly it's for paying bills and then buying Taco Bell once every week, once a week. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I deserve that goddamn money. I fucking put like 15 grand in fucking OCW, maybe
I'm
less, maybe
sure. I
more.
mean, just the. I don't think if people haven't run something like this, I don't know that people ever have an appreciation for it. Even in like early years of high school, I ran like a play by email Dragon Ball Z site.
Damn.
Like where you didn't like cut RPs, but you like did stuff like I'm gonna go to this planet, look for Dragon Balls and shit, and just maintaining that as that grew inside. As a kid, I had like a nervous breakdown trying to keep up with that. People don't understand the work that goes into
They
having
don't.
to babysit us and like talk us down off cliffs when Justin Reyes walks through our assholes. And like there's a lot of work that goes into that and a lot you have to maintain and manage that's fucking crazy.
It is, man. And thankfully, like, it's not just me, it's a team. Even though I do a lot of it, there's still a fucking team. Like, if Kent wasn't doing what he does, if Jay wasn't doing what he does, if Nate wasn't doing what he does, it's like, I don't know if I could keep doing it. Like,
Yeah.
at one point, I think not last summer, but the summer before last, Kent needed a break. He was burned out. So he took like maybe 4 weeks off. And then Nate, I wound up doing Turmoil also because I just like, fuck it, Nate. Because Nate was basically filling in for Leon. So I was like, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. And I was basically doing Riot and Turmoil, or, during the summer. So I was doing 2 shows a week. And I was on Twitch. And I remember like, because I dwell. And during a Twitch stream, I don't know what happened, but something happened. I fucking lost my mind on the Twitch stream. Like I like whined and bitched at people. And I was like, fuck, like I was burning out. And thank God the season was pretty much over then. So I just kind of powered through. But I was like, fuck, I needed the break. But it's like, if they weren't around, I wouldn't be able to do what I have to do because I would just be, I can't do this. This is too much. Like, for example, Nate does Turmoil, but I do the videos. So I came home to just kind of finish up Turmoil and then wound up being a fucking all night thing. So I woke up at 5 a.m. on Thursday, and I came home on Thursday at like 6:30 p.m. I literally sat down, worked on Riot. I didn't finish till about 10:15. I took a shower, I ate a fucking snack, and I went to bed. You don't understand how fucking upset I was, and I still managed to fuck up the show because a video didn't publish on time. So like the Jess match was the first match for some reason came after the main event and I fucking missed the role play. Like I was fucking tight. I fucked up. I not only did I fuck up, but it took too long and I fucked up. So I was like, fuck. So if I had to do that every week, I wouldn't be able to survive. So the point I'm making is that like the fact that I have a team helps tremendously. And to your point, it is a fucking uphill battle and it's a fucking fight and it costs money, it costs effort, it costs time, it costs a lot of shit, and it's just
Patience. People
and
burn out
patience
so
too.
hard on
Yeah,
it.
that's why I try. Even now, we try to kind of keep it so that people don't burn out, and then you still got people that been here for like 6 months, like I made it, or whatever. Like shut the fuck up. You been like when you been here for like double digits, then talk to me. Like I don't want to be rude to people who like I'm happy I've been here for like a thing. It's like no, you fucking you ain't been here.
Yeah,
Right?
it takes
Like
a lot of work and a lot of time, I think, too.
yeah, it's a lot, man. It takes a lot to keep everything afloat and trying to be, partial. Like, I think I'm one of the only owners or whatever who doesn't like, I'm the 17-time whatever, or I'm the this, I'm the, I don't give a fuck. I'm just here for y'all, not for me. It's not like a vanity project in the end. Like, I'm not gonna sit at the pearly gates like, I did this. Like, I mean,
Mr. Sensation's
right?
grand opus.
Like, in my fucking obituary, OCW camera fucking fades. I don't know. Like, my only the only kind of joy I get is when people come to me and say that they appreciate the site, or when I look at the friendships or the camaraderie that was made throughout the years between people that would have never met. That's the part that makes me very happy. That's basically about it. Everything else, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll take that shit and go to open mic, suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. I am shit. I'm to the shades, bruh. It's already 2 something, and I'm still like not tired, which is weird because I woke up this morning at 5:15.
The early J gets the worm.
I'm on that Iron Man shit, son. It's crazy. I'm whispering so I don't wake up the kids and shit, but it's like, fuck. Like, I don't give a mother. I don't know, man. It's just strange, and this is like a Patreon pod, so it's like this is way different than the Drago one, but I think I like it too because it's just a fucking discussion, like 2 fucking dudes
We
chit
should put
chatting.
some kind of code in at this point to see if anybody gets to this point on the, like something to see if
They will.
anybody was still listening.
They will.
Flamingo. Type flamingo in if you're still listening.
Well, it's not a stream, so it doesn't even matter. Like,
Well, no, but if they get to this point on the YouTube,
I mean, you could tell them to type flamingo, but motherfuckers are dumb. They're like, huh?
type
Okay.
flamingo.
Maybe.
Type Dutch rudder.
Dutch rudder. That'd be, you know what? That'd be hilarious. You know someone's gonna type it.
You're just gonna see Dutch rudder in the chat, or not the chat, the comments.
Dutch rudder. Actually, it's actually kind of a good idea. Like, look, if you've listened this far, type so and so.
I'm gonna name my daughter Dutch rudder. I'm gonna name my next SIG Dutch rudder. Get hit with the Dutch rudder by Bobby Minnie.
It's fine. I used to call it the fucking liberation. Wait, I used to call it deadly
No,
rhythm.
you weren't wrong about this. So like, this is my fault. It's so that I changed it because it was the deadly rhythm, and you always said the deadly rhythm.
Yeah.
But then I had switched it off season between like either 13 and 14 or 14 and 15. No. 12 or 13 or 13 and 14. One of those last like 2 off seasons is when I changed it. But I never really. I was looking around. I never posted anything in the thread. I just changed it, edited my post or whatever, and changed it. And yeah, my head.
Jay caught that shit because he fucking argued with me. I'm like, so
that dude does his homework.
He calls the liberation frequency. I call that shit deadly rhythm, and we just leave it at that. I was like, yo, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. That's what it's called to me.
I forgot I changed it, so I was like, yeah, Jake, dummy. Fucking idiot, dude. How do you not know it? Just look on the site. And then I ended up looking it up and I saw, and then I remembered, oh God, I changed this. And then I felt really bad. I felt like I set you up for failure.
Yeah, because he brought it up. He's like, look, idiot. I'm like, yo, dude, I don't give a fuck. When I was around, that's what it was called. So suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. You gonna fight me? Motherfucker.
It is a little silly to change a movie name like that, I guess, in retrospect.
Whatever. It all works out in the end. So we're gonna wrap this up, Barbarella. It's been a wonderful time. I enjoyed myself. I am fucked up, but this was a very nice thing.
I'll have to do this again sometime and get into some of these other topics.
Of course. Do you have anything else you want to bring up before we bounce? Do you have any other points, topics, or concerns? Anything else you want to add to the community, to me, to yourself?
People should read shows and look at the writing. Well, as somebody who doesn't always read shows, I don't mean it quite like that. Like, hey guys, you got to read your shows, eat your vitamins. But when you read a show, when you do get around to reading a show, read it kind of like we were talking about, like judging metrics on people's writing level, and just know how great I am and appreciate that a bit more. No, but it's fun to read it and be like, oh, I know where that guy's at. That guy's like, this is probably his first time really doing this, writing as a character. I bet you want to know why I'm here. Well, you'll all see soon enough. Like those kinds of promos that kind of like
OCW to new heights.
Going to bring OCW to new heights. I'm going to change this paradigm. Uh, what are some other ones you
Yo,
could slip
yo,
in there?
yo, dead ass. I used to call that shit. Cause yo, I am so fucking stupid. I used to call that shit paradigm.
The paradigms. I have a
Paradigm,
couple of
son.
words like that I say really wrong, and my girlfriend tries to correct me. Whenever she does that, I just double down because I
Yeah,
can't. At that point, I can't show weakness.
you
So I'm
can't
like,
you
it's a
can't show
paradigm,
weakness.
motherfucker.
It's paradigm or it's Juarez. You mean Wares? Nah, Juarez. Like, all right, man. Fuck you. Yo, I got
That's pretty funny.
My Juarez folder. Do you mean Wares? Nah, Juarez, son. Like
Oh, I thought you meant
Mexico?
like playing Call of Juarez.
Nope. I meant Juarez as in Wares because I'm
Whereas
fucking dumb.
I actually think you're supposed to say it like where's.
It's supposed to be Wares, but I used to say
Yeah,
Juarez. Just
or
like
like GIF and GIF, that whole thing.
just like I used to say paradigm. Like
Paradigm.
let's not talk about O Day. Like, I don't know if it's 0 day or O Day. I used to call that shit O Day.
I think that works either way. I say, in X-Men characters,
Yeah,
Cyclops brother, I say Havoc instead of
dude,
Havoc.
dude. I used to say Feistlock.
Wait, Physlop?
Feistlock.
Oh, for Psylocke?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
I used to call Guile Gully.
he said his name, didn't he? Yell Guile
I,
or something like that when you picked a character.
dude, I have no idea. I used to call Dalsim the Hasalam.
Is it Ryu or Ryu?
I think it's Ryu.
Because I said
Crazy.
Kyle.
It's crazy, son. I used to call
Or Ryu, not Kyle. I was
son.
thinking Ken.
I still call him the Hasalam instead of Dalsim.
Blanca or Blanca?
Blanca for me. Actually, no. Blanca. Blanca was
Baraka or Baraka?
Baraka. I'm telling you, son. I hate video games. All right, man. I think we done, son. So
No, let's do this for another hour.
no, we're done. No, we're done.
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato for me. Tomato.
Ziegler, Ziegler.
Ziegler or Ziegler? Ziegler.
It'd be fun to do this at OCW Wrestling.
I want to do
press.
do press or do pre. I want to do OCW Jeopardy, but the only person who wins is Jake. I could just see like Jake with like 4 million, and then everyone next to him like Gooch has like negative 4,000.
He'd be like those guys who win 70 nights in a row, and then they go on those legendary streaks. Maybe you just have to have Jake be the host. Jake as the host would be pretty great.
Oh my god! I'll take useless people for 4,000 for 1,000.
Juki?
Who
is Juki?
No. I fought Matsuda for over 4 years. Who is Ryu Matsumoto?
I've been in the Fed for 17 years and I haven't gotten over. Who is Austin?
Who is who?
Nobody. Austin Lee.
Oh, that's rude. That's rude and incorrect. He's actually a former CCW champion.
Doesn't mean he got over.
Nah, he's kind of over for his physique.
It's just Michael Hollywood with a better haircut.
Don't talk shit about Austin Lee. How dare you?
I'm just burying homie.
How fucking dare you? Let me see. I wore an army cap and beat the dog shit out of Bobby Minio.
That was Sergeant Reyes.
Who is General Reyes?
General Reyes should come back and be Court's commanding officer.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I want General Reyes to come back, and I want Meech in the feud with Coach Neal.
Do you know when Austin Reyes got over for me? And maybe it wasn't Reyes. It may have been Trance that wrote this, but at some point he was being followed. His character was being followed, and it turned out to be a bunch of minis. And they like started jumping him from bushes, and he was just throwing them around and stuff. And I think they were like Trance disciples, and Trance wrote that RP. I'm pretty sure. But I remember thinking, "Oh my God, Reyes finally gets it." Because that's what I'm talking about. Have your character get chased around and stalked by minis, and then have them jump him and huck them around left and right like old bags.
Are you sure it wasn't the Droogs? Because that was a whole.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was.
No,
the
so
Droogs.
that wasn't
that
wasn't Trance.
That
wasn't Trance. That was actually Bedlam. Bedlam had the Droogs. I think it was Igor and somebody else. I remember the Droogs.
Why did I think that Jaime was the one writing that?
I don't know, man. That was that's all Matsuda. The Droogs. He was Bedlam, which Bedlam was actually an interesting call.
Well, way to just bury Trance, by the way. I was
Sorry.
putting him over big time with this RP,
Well,
but it turns out he didn't even write the fucking
he
thing.
didn't have he wasn't with the Droogs. The Droogs actually feuded with the Ambit. Who was I know they feuded with fucking Dupree. I think I remember him kicking the shit out of one of them. It was fucking hilarious because you can have a guy that was 4 foot tall, and Dupree just kicked the shit out of him. I don't know, the fucking Droogs.
If you're still listening, type Dirty Sanchez.
Okay, great. Well, that's gonna do it for us. This one is a super fucking packed up Patreon. You got your money's worth this month, goddammit.
I don't know that I would say they got their money's worth.
No, I'm saying
This
you
month.
got your money's worth.
Okay, sure, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, I pay for the Patreon. I need a captive audience. Let's do a podcast.
I think this month we're gonna call you Big Money Minio.
There we go.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you, Bobby, for showing up. Everybody else, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night. This will be posted.